Gemini, hello. This is your December 2020 reading. I know it's actually coming out very, very early, but you know, there's generally so much to do this time of the year that sometimes time just sort of like, go past us a little bit. So I thought I'll do it earlier. There is already a November 2020 reading for you. And this is quite an interesting reading because it sort of goes from, the 3D, the things that you sort of left behind, or the things that weren't sort of working for you, and the 5D, like where you're going towards, it serves your sort of greater and higher purpose. But then we're looking at the 4D in between, the things that you are getting stuck at in that transitional phase. All right. So in whichever way it applies to your sun, moon, rising and ascending for sign of Gemini, if there's communication concerns, then you can obviously look at your Mercury, matters of the heart, romance, love, that sort of thing, maybe even close friendship. Soulmates, you can look at your Venus, and if you don't know what those things are, there's a link down below in the description that says free natal chart. You can have a look at that, and it actually shows to you what those things are. It's very sort of, helpful to know those things, and it's a free service. So you can have a look at that. There's also a link for AC Digital Marketing Solutions that does all my beautiful graphic design. And don't you think the thumbnail is just funky? It's very sort of, retro and out of space. So AC Digital Marketing Solutions does that for me. You can have a look at that. And welcome to your reading for December 2020, general sign of Gemini. For all your Gem babies always supporting me, I'd like to say thank you so much. I appreciate it with every part of my being. It means everything to me. I'm really grateful. Thank you. And if you're new to the channel, then I'd like to welcome you. My name is Adrian. I'm intuitive healer. I practice holistic wellness, and I also do spiritual regression hypnosis. Okay. You're more than welcome to join my newsletter. There's also a link for that in the description. Okay. Interesting stuff. A matter of the heart, matter of love. We're looking at the recent past. Now, there's a connection here, and it's like I'm sensing a little bit of trouble because the inside of my nostril is itching, which is the inside of my left nostril. And as I was preparing for your reading, it just suddenly started as well. For me, a general sign, it usually means that there could be some trouble brewing, something like a fight maybe. We're going to have a look at that because, it may be related to this recent past, but I feel that, it might have been in a roundabout way, in one way or the other, but in a sense, there was you, I feel, giving your heart to someone more than you generally will. It's almost like there's a lot of hope there. And I don't know if you maybe put a little bit of like testing too far, if you maybe, just overplayed your hand. But it seems almost like when you reach that point where you were really, really ready to flow with that love, or with that connection, that success, that energy, that plan, one way or the other. So you've got Ace of Cups, and you've got Page of Swords. So one way or the other, you realize that it made logical, sense to sort of, separate yourself from this connection, to walk away. And it's almost like when you walked away, there were no guarantees of, that you'd ever be able to come back. So in a sense, now I'm quite interested in this reading because it's like the sense of foreboding that's, coming up in me. So I want to see what this is all about. May not be one of the most positive readings that I've ever done, but then again, I have to tell you what I have to tell you. So what do we have that fell here to the floor? You've got the Eight of Cups, which was initially in reverse, and then because I saw it as it flipped, so it was sort of like in reverse, and then it sort of went in the upright position again. So now, for some of you, you had to step away from something that was really, really important to you. Could have been an individual, it could have been like, like a business or a place of accommodation, but there is a sense of separation that energy that you felt, that hope that you had, I feel it's almost like, it's going to sound a little harsh now, but it's almost like it made logical sense for you to step away, which was the honorable thing to do, from this real emotion that was so powerful and so strong and so genuine inside your heart, really. But it's almost like the person that, you know, obviously when it comes to a situation, we're all contributing, but it feels like the one that was sort of like the instigator of this energy, the situation that, you know, that you eventually had to step away from, that didn't serve you well, have to emotionally separate from. Somehow I sense that in a way the fault was actually kind of yours. All right. And obviously it's very difficult in life when we get to those situations sometimes. I also feel that you wanted to, you know, you had a strong need to step away. It wasn't so much the honorable thing to do. In fact, some of you might think back now and think it was the most stupid thing to do, but it was a loving thing to do. It was in a sense, accepting your fault in the situation, but I feel that you might have taken things a little bit too far. There's quite a lot of life circumstances that were pressing you as well. So I feel even though you stepped away, it's almost like you didn't have another choice. There was a lot of pressure involved here. Sort of like the need to perform. You had to shine through something quite dark, and you weren't really quite sure if you could trust anybody. And it also feels like a lot of people weren't sure if they could trust you. Cards are all falling to the floor now, but let's see what's going on. So we're looking at your 5D, what you're going towards, the 5 of Pentacles. You want to be a little bit careful here. Some of you want to make up for a situation that you caused in the past. Now, when I get this 5 of Pentacles in the upright position, I really like this card. In the downright, in the reverse position, though, a little bit of a concern. I'm gonna see what's happening here in the middle, because it seems like it's almost like things are flipping for you in a positive direction. Most likely, I'm gonna have to look. I'm literally sort of speculating right now, because I'm only seeing like where you are at. But for some reason, it appears where you're going towards, you place in a position where, you know, you might be able to share, which is a wonderful thing. But we also want to be very careful that we don't sometimes take ourselves out of our own sort of space, you know, of abundance. So let's see. Oh, I thought those were coming up. Let's have a look. So we're looking for what you're going towards. 5D, enlightenment. Okay. Way too many cards, but I'm going to take the one that came out on top, which is the wheel. Fantastic. Wheel of Fortune, number 10. There's a cycle that ended that you're trying to salvage. It would have had something to do with materialistic energy. So, you know, money, sort of a IOU. But this IOU can also be more in your mind as opposed to with the other person. Okay, 2 cards came out. We've got the sorry, the Hierophant and the Hanged Man. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Let's look at where you are currently at. What is the things that are keeping you stuck in the 40? Because now it's a very good energy that you're going towards, and your life has also got the potential to grow quite a lot. A lot to where you are going. But some of you, there's a sense of just wanting to give. Like, I want to give. I want to give now. There's obviously nothing wrong with sharing. But when we give in a sense that dishonors ourselves, it's a very different sort of story. Okay. All right. I'm going to draw some cards for the present and see what we're having here in your current situation. Avenues that you want to focus on. Why do you feel there's that need to share? You know, there could be a bit of a victim mentality going on now. almost feeling like it's expected of you to give. And I feel that whatever it is, I feel this is very one-sided. Like you may feel that you need to make up for forgiveness, but you don't really have to. Let's see what you have coming out here. Because there's something that you also want to sort of wait with as you go towards the future, and I want to see what that is about. So with the current energy, oh my goodness, lots of major arcana cards. So for the current energy, where you currently are, you've got the Death card, which is about transformation. You've got the Tower card, which is also about transformation. So things are kind of rocking at the moment, all right? Might not be as stable as you would prefer it to be. Let's see. I still feel some of you are kind of missing the point. Oh, okay. Went flying? So these two cards went flying towards where you're going towards. So I'm going to leave them where they went, but it's a Four of Swords and the Five of Wands, and they went on top of this Hierophant card. So remember earlier on you had the Hierophant and the Hanged Man, and these two cards, the Five of Wands and the Four of Swords, the Four of Swords first, went on that Hierophant situation. So there's sort of like an internal conflict happening over here, and I do feel that it might be one-sided. You might feel that you need to make up for something that you've done before, you know, like something you've done in the past, but it could also be a way of just sort of holding yourself back, because we do that sometimes, you know, as human beings. All right, I'm going to get another card for the current energy so I can get some clarity on this really powerful transformation that's busy taking place here in your life. Two of Swords. You could actually be feeling very stuck right now. I'm going to get one more. Okay. I say just the one on top, which is the Strength card, Leo energy. Okay, so stepped away there in the recent past, and I feel it was a very lonely period. There was a lot of, you know, sort of self-blame and crying and like self-sabotage involved. Many of you realize that, you know, that sort of like separation from whatever it is that you separated from, that was the last thing in the world that you sort of anticipated. I feel some of you kind of like overplayed your hand, and but you didn't think that, you know, let me put it like this. It's almost like there was a situation arising, and you sort of, you know, it was a bit of a rocky situation, but you didn't, I feel that for some of you, you were sort of waiting for things to, you know, sort of move back, you know, and it could be that somebody moved on without you, all right, for whatever reason. And so you realize that you're kind of going to have to pick yourself up here. You know, you're going to have to kind of pick yourself up and try again here, because it didn't appear like they were, you know, coming back as you initially anticipated, or, you know. So you could have been dealing with an individual here, with a situation, energy situation, that they sort of separated. They, in a sense, they chose themselves. They may not have, you know, realized that they were doing it at the time, but in a sense, they chose themselves, and you were sort of like sidelined from that, you know, choice, from that decision. So you may not have been fully, completely sort of discarded, but you weren't really entirely included either. Okay. I actually feel that, you know, they may have been a bit confused on their end as well, but in a sense, they were really letting you down gently. They were being respectful towards whatever it is that you used to have before. And where you are at the moment, you actually, if we look at this over a period of time, so maybe like 2 or 3 years, doesn't have to be that specific, you know, could even be 4 or 5 years. Like, it's almost like you're beginning to kind of see where they were at the time. All right, you're getting clarity in the situation. You yourself is expanding in wonderful ways. You yourself is merging into wonderful different avenues, and there's a, you know, there's a little bit of a, you know, a give and take between the past and the future. You know, many of you are sort of, you know, very aware of your patterns, which is wonderful. How you can sometimes, you know, sort of sabotage yourself in ways, and you don't really want that to happen again. And as a direct result of that, there's a lot of inner child healing that's taking place at the moment. You know, you may actually feel like while the rest of the world is really moving forward, you're doing very much that sort of dark night of the soul at the moment. All right. To get clarity of things. A lot of you are also realizing that you're going to have to embrace a more sort of logical way of living, as opposed to, you know, not so much, you know, the wishful way of, you know, of thinking how you'd like things to be. There's a real sense of growing up here. Sorry. Um, So it would appear that the conflict that you have is not so much with necessarily anybody else, but it's also sort of, you know, within yourself mostly. However, there are people within your circle that are sort of depending on this almost broken version of you. You know, they like that version because that version is easy to sort of like manipulate and things like that. And so there's a lot of clarity seeing, you know, maybe people you thought were never kind of on your side, realizing now that they might have been actually all along. There's a lot of truth coming to light. And also, you know, unfortunately, some people that you thought will be there for you through the dark night of the soul, they wouldn't necessarily want you to heal from those patterns because they sort of want to keep those that, you know, that patterning in place. Um, and you're in the process of getting this clarity. Okay, now I understand. So, in a sense, you are getting to see, I feel specifically, there could be quite a sense of guilt for you going forward. Um, I do see you really sort of expanding quite, you know, positively. And there's a sense of like remorse here for, you know, for some things that you may have done before. And maybe feeling that you'd really like to make up for that, you know. Um, so in a sense, you could be dealing with someone who could actually, you know, you getting to see how maybe your sort of, you know, contribution, financial contribution, time, energy, that sort of thing, helping from a genuine point can actually be helpful. But there can be a little bit of blurred lines over there. There's a little bit of a, you know, a download sort of hope over there, so that, you know, I'm not hoping, but, you know, maybe possibly and perhaps. Um, so you want to make sure when you go forward that as you're assisting, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you know, you can always use your own discernment, but you want to make sure that you're not sort of fooling yourself again. Because I feel for some of you, you would say that you're over a situation, that you work through that, you know, that you pass those emotions, but you may not really be. Okay. And you want to be honest with yourself because it could be a beautiful, there's beautiful new connections that's coming through for you, beautiful new opportunities that are coming through for you. So instead of trying to, um, you know, as you move forward, instead of trying to fix the past, rather look in the future where you currently are. So in the future, you know, going forward, moving forward, take some time to get still going forward to become conscious of your present, you know. How am I really feeling about this? And checking in with yourself every now and then, not in how you feel that you should feel, but how do you actually feel? Because it's that honesty that, in a sense, is helping you really, really move forward quite positively. Okay, let's get you a message from the universe, and then also going to get you an oracle card, my beautiful Jamies. And if the reading resonates with you, you're more than welcome to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Remember, if you subscribe, to hit that notification button so you get the reading. So the Page of Swords was a little bit stubborn there to come out. It just sort of stuck itself out there. And so Page of Swords. And then Seven of Swords sort of like on its side. A little bit of a flippy that it's doing there. And the Emperor, which I actually saw in the other deck earlier on when I was looking at your recent bars. I kept on seeing it, but it didn't flip out. Okay. Um, you're gonna have to, I'm gonna give you just one more card, but you're gonna have to look at, you know, there are things in the past that you haven't fully let go of yet. And you're hesitant to do it. You're hesitant to cut those ties. There's hope here. Okay, I'm just gonna take the top card that came up, and it's the moon. And actually, underneath the moon, there was also the Four of Swords. Okay, then I'm gonna have to take another one. All right, Ace of Cups. Okay, cool. That's perfect. So you are hesitant to make this new choice. You are scared that this choice is gonna sort of you know, this release and letting go, that's almost sort of like unnecessary guilt, really. Unnecessary because it doesn't really help you forward constructively. It actually helps to maintain, you know, a pattern that doesn't serve you well. And I feel that for many of you, you almost, you know, one of the main reasons why you are so hesitant is because you almost feel like if you go ahead and do this, that it might sort of upset the balance that you currently have. That ain't true. There's a strong desire for unity here, for companionship, for peace, for flow, for abundance, for, you know, it could be marriage, it could be new. You want the beautiful, positive. You want to feel balance inside, and for many of you, you realize that you are not. As you deal with these past situations, you actually open the path for the desires of your heart to actually come true quite beautifully. Quite a loaded reading there. Let's see what we have for you in an oracle card. Okay, I'm gonna take the top one that came out. Okay, 3 came out. I'm just gonna take all 3. What are they? It says first light, beginning a new cycle. Desert passage, trust that there's a divine plan. And solitude, in silence peace prevails. But remember, we can't really have peace until we also let go of the chatter in our minds, you know, and the chatter of the past that is holding us back, because there's a lot of that chatter going ch. And so you can't really find that solitude because you can't find that peace. Okay. Yeah, I hope that helps. I'll see you next time.